Welcome to LOTC Presents Black Glove Mysteries, where every other Friday we will take you on a journey through Italian cinema. Specifically giallo, but we reserve the right to take other avenues such as polizieschi, spaghetti westerns, Euro crime films. Either way, you will hear and now see us talk Italian cinema. This is episode 464, Double 80. I'm your host, Greg Mortis, along with Ian La Punelli Irza. What's up, Ian?
Everyone out of the way of the bulldozer.
Yes, I didn't know what you was going to say. Now I'm laughing because that was such a goofy scene, man.
Yeah.
But welcome to LOTC. We're super excited this week. We're going to be looking at two made-for-TV Italian films from the horror maestro himself, Mr. Lucio Fulci. And we're super excited. We'll go ahead and show what we're looking at. We are looking into Cauldron's Houses of Doom box set, and we have the House of Clocks and the Sweethouse of Horrors. And the quote that Ian just gave is out of that Sweethouse of Horrors. And holy crap, what a bulldozing moment that was. But we'll get into that. We'll break them down. We're super excited, man. Hope you're having a great week. If you've been part of this snowmageddon or whatever you want to call it, those blizzards that everybody's been getting except for Pearl and I here in North Carolina. Wah, wah. I hope you guys have stayed warm and safe and powers are on and you're, doing all the good stuff, watching horror movies or whatever. Maybe you're shopping for some horror movies. We would love to know what you've been picking up, but welcome to the show. And if you're new to it, this is what you get. You get Ian and I talking about, Italian cinema. And this week we are talking these made for Italian TV. Sometimes we'll go down the avenues of some of those good Euro crimes, or we'll go down a spaghetti Western avenue every once in a while, Ian. But either way, it's Italian cinema. We're super excited, man. We just finished last month, Ian. We did our Neo Giallo, which was awesome.
Yes, that was great.
And I actually started the what was the one 2025 you was going to choose? The Diamond. It's on Shudder.
Reflections of a Dead Diamond, I think it was.
Man, I started that right before, a couple hours before we started recording. I'm gonna be honest, because I'm old. Pearl and I knocked out like a minute into that movie, and I woke up with it going off. So I don't know what happened. I like to go back and watch it. I passed the flip out, bro. But hey, it sounded fun, and then the intro was pretty cool. So we'll see how the movie went. I saw as much as somebody on a boat and a girl's face getting pushed into some diamonds, and yeah, then I went to sleep. At least I didn't get spoiled, though. I didn't get spoiled. But either way, man, I'm super excited, man. February's coming up, Ian, which is going to be the new month for Vinegar Syndrome's. If you're a subscription type person, if you're a part of their subscription, we'll get our new title releases. I'm super excited about that, Ian, as well as it looks like Severin is going to be throwing out a surprise for you, Ian. You sent me a message about Antonio Margheriti.
Yeah.
Dude, it looks like you're going to get possibly a box set. I'm imagining this will be in February. I don't think there's anything official on the site yet, but I'm going to tell you, I know you're going to be first in line to grab that, buddy.
Yes, for sure.
So keep in tune for that. And check out Vinegar Syndrome February 1st. They'll go into that shutdown mode or not shutdown mode, but they'll be doing the subscription. So I'm super excited to see what's in store for us there. Maybe some Italian movies, Ian. I'm hoping that maybe some Italian giallos or something is getting released here in February or in March, April, May, something around in there. But either way, so we're excited. So we're going to get into these two made-for-television horror films, and we're going to look at this one first. We're going to be looking at The House of Clocks, which is Lucio Fulci. And Cauldron does this cool little numbering on their spine, which I absolutely love. This is number 19. So super excited about that. And I'm going to do this, Ian. I'm going to go down a Cauldron rabbit hole for a second. As soon as I get the money, I'm going to go down and I'm going to go ahead and try to pick up all the other titles that they've released up to date. But there's a few that are sold out as far as the slip cases or the special.
Rico the Mean Machine sold out? I think you'd like that movie.
Rico, I think, is actually one that is still available. I'm pretty sure I was looking that one up. And
it's a fun Chris Mitchum, Barbara Boucher Euro crime movie.
Nice.
With some really gory inserts in between as well.
I'll have to get into, let's see, you said Rico.
It might be Rico the Cauldron of Death. I can't remember.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it is. As I'm looking down, I do not see it readily right there on their site. Is that a cauldron and not a neon eagle? Right, that is a cauldron.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I see American Rickshaw, Ratman, Top Line. Some of these are looking sold out. Even the Off Balance looks like it's sold out. Uh,
got that one a while back.
yeah, yeah. So
I don't get all of them. I get the ones I want, but over half of their releases have been things I want.
yeah.
It says Rico the Mean Machine is out of stock right now.
Yep,
Interestingly enough,
it is
yeah.
out of stock, and I did notice if you go
That's
to,
in a way though I'm kind of happy about that just because I didn't know how that film would do upon its release there
mhm,
because it's kind of a lesser known Eurocrime film. The fact that it's selling well is actually a good thing.
yeah,
Uh,
I'll check. I don't know if it'll be available over on Diabolic DVD, but I may have to go find it out on eBay or something. But I'm gonna try to get the full line of Cauldron films, minus the big box sets and the special editions. I'm not gonna go all out if I don't have the American Rickshaw, which I do. But if I take
Top Line is
Contraband,
pretty fun, and friend of mine Eric Zaldivar did the commentary for that as well.
okay,
So yeah,
cool. Yeah, Contraband I don't own yet. All I have it is on a DVD. I don't know if it's rare or I
Blue
don't.
Underground.
Yeah, I've got that one, but I want to get the Blu-ray they have it there, and it is still available, so I'll check it out. They actually have the limited Blu-ray CD with case too, the cover B with Graham.
Yeah, I don't
On it.
remember which one I got, but I got one of them.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool. So we'll get into that, but anyways, let's go ahead and start talking these Lucio Fulci films. Once again, House of Clocks. And as always, I'm going to take it over to you, Ian. Let us know the plot synopsis, and we'll break this puppy down.
Tony, Paul, and Sandra are out on a joyride looking to raise a little hell. They get word that the secluded house of eccentric recluses Vittorio and Sarah Corsini is loaded with valuables and decided to pay a visit, hoping to rob them blind. Sandra pretends to be stranded and asks for shelter, and the Corsinis oblige her with hospitality. She then leaves the door open and allows her friends to come in after her. The robbery doesn't go as planned, and the old couple and their servant Peter are killed. When the three youths try to flee, they discover that they are prisoners and that time itself seems to be running in reverse. This is
Oh,
taken
oh,
from Troy
oh.
Howard's Splintered Visions,
Yes, I got that
films of
book
Lucio Fulci.
over there. Awesome. I forgot to even look that up in that book.
Yeah.
God dang it. Uh, we love us some Troy Howarth, man. And Splinter
Yes.
Visions is a really, really solid book.
Yeah.
That one was one that I picked up about a year or so ago, man.
I've had it for several years.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
so good stuff, man. Check out Troy
You have the
Howard,
black and white one or the color one?
color one.
Yeah, I have the
Yeah,
black and white one.
yeah. So good stuff there. So yeah, looking into this, the story itself, these are basically these House of Clock and all this set that we're going to be looking at was a made for Italian TV series that Lucio Fulci, Lindsay did,
He
and
didn't have to neuter too much of the gore, though. I don't know if he had planned to do more nudity, maybe, but like because there's a sex scene in here, and there's like notably no nudity in it. But
no, just
apart
I
from
think there was
that,
a nip
yeah.
slip, a couple of those somewhere, just quick flashes or something. But yeah, you're right. But I felt like it was definitely pushing the border, which I don't think these ever released on Italian cinema. I think it was they said a little too graphic, so they kind of got pulled back. But hey, I'm going to be honest, man. The gore was pretty damn good in these. And the story in this one was actually pretty fun. It actually reminded me of a couple things. One thing was one of the Twilight Zone episodes, and there's also something else. I can't remember, Pearl, if you were mentioning. But anyways, the scenario of this is you have the older couple in this home, and you notice immediately that the gentleman is a clock collector. He's a uh, video played by Paolo Polini. I guess he's some kind of, I don't know what you would call a clock collector, but he keeps everything on tune, and you even see at the very beginning, Ian, which I thought was pretty interesting how he's going from clock to clock to clock, listening, and then the chimes are going off, so everything's in tune. Every clock is set on a certain time. So it's kind of a little quirky, and then that plays out in the movie, which I thought was interesting. I thought the maid who comes in, Maria, I thought was kind of interesting that you see her in the first couple minutes, and she's like, you can tell she's very suspect about what's going on in the house because she's looking in a room that she shouldn't be in, and she finds the corpse of two people. What did you think of the setup of this movie? Like, what did you feel like? I'm gonna call it a movie. What did you feel of the setup of this?
Well, I found the this is sort of how the storylines converge interesting because you got the three U's who don't seem like the most likable people in the world. The girl, I guess, seems fine, but the two guys, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
Especially Paul because of what he
Oh.
does to that cat. Um, it just seemed really unnecessary. But I like that aspect of it, and I do think like you from the beginning, you're like, what is going on with these clocks? Why is there such an obsession with them or
Yeah.
a meticulousness to them? So you know that that's going to play a factor as the film goes on, regardless of how it ends up happening.
100%. And it does. It
Yeah,
definitely does. You got the groundsman Peter shows up by our great friend Al Cliver.
yeah, nine films with Fulci. That guy.
Wow, bro. And I love this thing he does. He has a eye affliction. Something had happened to his eye, and it's kind of looks like it's stitched over or whatever. But he's constantly doing a little cat, like a little cat thing. And that's the only thing I can call it. It's almost like when a cat licks their paw and kind of does their face or whatever. It's kind of what he keeps doing throughout this whole episode, this whole movie, which I thought was interesting. I liked his character though, but I did like the dynamic of these three hoodlums coming in and trying to rob the house. And we saw early on where they broke into or didn't break in, but they go into like a grocery store type scenario and they rob that place too. So you already see they're not, you know, they're not good people. They're definitely criminals. And then when they go into the house, did you feel like it was going to go where it went? Because I instantly knew something was up with the clocks. I didn't know
Yeah,
exactly
I
how it would
mean,
play out.
I didn't know, but I was like, it seemed too it seemed too easy everything that happened, even
Yeah,
though some of it happens through happenstance or whatever. But it just seemed like it just seemed like too easy in terms of okay, what's going to happen next?
mm,
They're not just gonna they're not just gonna break apart naturally. Something else is going to happen to create more conflict here, so you knew something was going to happen with that.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed there's a part when I think it's Peter, right, who hits on the woman at the grocery store, and she's like, "Dude, I'm working," and then they have that nice exchange where he says "toodaloo" and she says "fuck off" or something like that. I
yeah,
can't
yeah. That was
remember, but
Paul. Yeah, Paul's character.
yeah, yeah, Paul. Sorry, that was pretty funny.
That was.
Yeah, I think what's interesting about Tony is Keith Van Hoven, I looked at his credits. He didn't really do much besides this. And I look at him thinking that guy could have been probably something. Like he has the
Yeah,
look to have been in more stuff. So I was surprised to see that he didn't really do much else. But I like him a little bit more than I do Paul.
yeah, yeah. Paul is the antagonist. He's definitely the meaner spirited of the three. But at the same time, I agree with you. I thought the Tony character, I could have, man, I would have thought he would have done a lot of stuff, and
Yeah.
maybe I don't know why. I haven't looked into his life that deep, and may not even be anything in his life that deep. But regardless, man, he had the look for sure. His acting was fine in this.
Yeah.
I did watch. There are on the Cauldron film. There are different. You can either do English dub or you can do the Italian. I watched it in English dub instead of watching it in Italian. But so I don't know how he is, as far as voice, and I'm sure it's different in Italian too. But you know how they always dub over, anyways.
Well, I
But
don't know. He may not have even been Italian. I don't know. Just
mm,
from that name alone, that doesn't sound like an Italian name.
Keith
So
Van Hoven sounds something more. I don't know what you think, maybe German or
Dutch,
Dutch.
but he
Yeah,
might be like an American Dutch,
right,
like the
right.
Van Halens. Yep.
Yeah. So, but I did like his acting. I did like Sandra, played by Karina Huff. She didn't do a ton of stuff either.
No, I think I read that she had died of cancer or
Mm,
something back in like 2015 or something like
sad,
that.
man, sad.
Yep.
But the movie runs well. It's only an hour and what's an hour and like 23 minutes or something like that. I believe it's an hour and was it 84 minutes or something like that.
And it gets
Hour
more
24.
fun as certain things start happening.
Mm,
Like as once you know what is going on with these clocks, I mean, I don't know how much we want to talk about it, but
mm,
it's like, oh, okay, little things start happening
Yeah.
where things are out of place, little details start happening. Like there's something about Paul has a lighter that disappears, right? And then all of a sudden it's back, I think,
Yeah.
is one thing. So that just gives you a hint of what's kind of going on. But as it goes on, it gets more fun because of that. And I think the ending is really, really cool, I
It
think.
is
Yeah.
bizarre
Um
but good.
and and it's ironic with what happens with a cat, let's put it that way. So um there's that aspect to it, and there's like there's a really, to me, unexpected twist involving a couple other people that somehow enter the picture.
True.
um so there's that aspect to it, and you do have Fulci's penchant for gore here. Like the maid at the very beginning of the movie, which, it's not a spoiler to say she gets killed because it happens so early on.
Yeah.
um yeah, the maid getting killed by this, not a spear, but more like a giant wooden pole.
Mhm.
She gets it right in an area where a woman would not want to be stabbed. Let's put it that way. Um,
Yeah.
and then you have Fulci loves like really exaggerated special effects. We've seen that before, and that's
Yeah.
that's totally fine with me. But
Yeah.
like the shotgun blast through the back, and the handgun blast through the torso or whatever, and like the bloody clothes and everything. There's some really good practical effects here in a late 80s Fulci film. And I do think for these two films, he may have been slightly more invested than some of his other late 80s and early 90s efforts overall. Um, as much as I like Cat in the Brain, that movie's mainly a clip show. I like his acting, but the movie itself is not, it's fine, but it is just kind of a clip show, assembled from a lot of his other films. Door into Silence, I remember thinking it was okay, but I do think maybe for this film in particular, he did seem a little bit more invested than some of his other efforts. Maybe his health was just maybe a tiny bit better at this point. It definitely wasn't good throughout all of the 80s.
True.
Put it that way. But maybe for this film, he dialed it in just a little bit more. I mean, for example, in Zombie 3, like he was so ill during the making of that movie, he had to go like get his stomach drained of fluids like at different points of the film, and obviously he couldn't finish it. Bruno Mattei ended up finishing it. So
Right.
it just tells you what state he was in throughout the 80s. I had some good notes. Did you watch the commentary at all?
I did not watch commentary on this one, no, sir.
This one they had some good notes here because you got Howarth, Ercolani, and Nathaniel Thompson all on it. Fulci apparently really liked working with Nino Celeste, the cinematographer, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he was a cinematographer or the composer. I can't remember.
Nino was the cinematographer.
Okay. Um, Carla Casola, who plays the
Maria.
maid, was
Mm-hmm.
also in Demonia, and she was in Michele Suave's The Sect. Fulci had a big heart attack in the early 80s, and that also coincided with the onset of diabetes, had hepatitis from a blood transfusion. Um, he did, I don't remember if he broke off with he broke off with his contract from someone around this time, and I don't know if it was necessarily, I think it may have been for insurance reasons, in terms of he may not be insured by certain people, and he just wanted to keep working. I have a feeling that not only did he like working, but I think he liked working. I think it gave him a distraction from his health at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Basically, and because he didn't make a lot of money, let's be real, it left him short of the finances that he needed for meds and operations at this point in his life. The idea of the movie being what would happen after death, or what would happen if we can rewind time, I think that is sort of in a way autobiographical for him at the time. Al Cliver and Fulci didn't get along all the time, but Fulci became very protective if anyone else tried to tease him, apparently. Um, Basically, and Massimo Antonio Gelling, or Gelling, I'm not sure, said that on City of the Living Dead, like 9 years or so before this, Fulci was fully invested and did not miss a detail, but that was not the way he was at this point. And Fulci was a comedic director mainly when he started, and was an AD and screenwriter for many comedies to start his career. um, Fulci had studied to be a doctor before switching to cinema. um, I'm just trying to read here if there's too much else. Oh, Fulci apparently respected Giovanni Lombardo Radice mainly because he was a theater actor. He told Radice that the director should create havoc on the first day on set so people would be on their toes. Um, they also told the story about working on Silver Saddle, and Fulci was yelling and screaming, and apparently at one point he just winked at Jeffrey Lewis to let him know, like, yeah, this is just a show. So Radice notably enjoyed Fulci. He said his outbursts were more justified. Radice did not enjoy Umberto Lenzi for the same reasons. He liked Diodato though and found him pretty funny. Fulci was intolerant of drug use, and I think that his naivety comes through here where he thinks about this. I think he genuinely thinks this might be what marijuana does to people. Which that's not necessarily. I don't think there's any trip in the world. Like, I don't think that, like, I've smoked marijuana. It's not my, I've smoked it casually, but it's certainly not my thing of choice, but I cannot imagine ever having that much marijuana to think this is what it would do to me is what happens to these three people in this movie.
Would you do it often if it did that though?
You know what? Maybe that might actually be a pretty fun trip experience. That would be. Yeah. I remember once. This is unrelated, but my buddy, my friend who I used to work with, he had told me once that his friend went to see Event Horizon or something, like, I think it was Event Horizon, and he was on like LSD or something for Event Horizon. And he said that it was like, he said like years later the guy still has like trauma from being on like really hard drugs watching Event Horizon.
It'd be like watching Pink Floyd's Wall doing that. Like, yeah, there's certain things you don't want to do before
Fulci would test people a lot and liked it when people stood up to him. He apparently did it with Florinda Balkan for Don't Torture a Duckling, where he like one of the first things he said to her was that he wanted like a blonde woman for the role, and she wasn't particularly happy with him for saying that and stood up to him. Another thing that I had here, door protrusions, like the one you see with the chainsaw towards the end of the film. That's something Fulci also does with a lot of his films. You think about the whole thing with I think it's the axe in House by the Cemetery, where he's trying to break into the door where Bob's behind it.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. Eugenio Orcolani noted that Gianfranco Clarici, who I think is the writer, doesn't really like to be interviewed. He said one time I could go and talk to him, but I couldn't set up cameras or anything because he doesn't really like going on the record with anything for whatever reason. He's just one of those type of people. The commentary was pretty rich with info from all three of them.
Did you get or did they mention anything with Al Cliver? There was a scene, if you one of the bonus features were some archival interviews, and one of them was Al Cliver, which was only a couple minutes, minute or 2 minutes. And all it was he told the story that in one of the scenes in the movie, they were doing something with sand and with wind and everything. And they said he's sitting in a director's chair, and I guess they got a fan. He's calling it a windstorm or a storm, but I'm assuming he's talking about one of the big fans, and they're blowing. And he said where he's sitting on, like, we'll call it his left side. The left side, the wind and the sand and everything's hitting him, like the whole scene. And he did this for like 5 hours. That to the point that at the end of the shoot, he was like half face, like half of his face was like black with just, sand and all this stuff. And then the other side, he had his pipe, where he smokes his pipe, and he's like arguing out the side of his mouth. He said he's just sitting right in front of the fan. Why would you, as a director, why wouldn't you just move out of the way? But he said this is how Fulci was, getting that full wind of for like 4 hours of sand and grit just hitting you in the face. Like, what the fuck? You're the director. You don't have to take that, dude. You can't move. But that's the only thing Al Cliver said in the interview was that scene, and he laughed about it. He said that was funny. But the Maria, played by Carla Casola, hers was about, I don't know, a little bit longer than that, 9 minutes or something. And she just told about how her scene with the impalement, how they kind of pulled that off, which I knew if you watch any length of movies or you see this thing, you know exactly what they're doing. So that wasn't a big surprise. But she said she wasn't in a lot of horror movies, so that was kind of like an icky type thing to her to be sitting there doing that. But her time with Fulci was kind of in that scenario. But anyways, that's the only thing I read or watched on those special features. All the others, I did watch a little bit of the composer. I did watch a little bit of that one. Did you watch any of those, the interviews and
No,
stuff?
I didn't get to them. I definitely want to try to get to the one with oh, what's her name from Sweethouse of Horrors? The one who was in the Beyond. Why am I blanking on her name right now?
Oh,
Jadzia Monreale.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So anyway, the interviews themselves were okay. The archival, you could definitely tell were older, and that's fine. I don't mind, a couple minutes and that. But they did have the time and music, which is the one I started watching, was with the composer Vince Temporary, and I think he died in 20. I don't remember when it was, 2015,
Oh
2021.
wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
I think the music is fine in both of these films. It's not, it doesn't really stand out, but it's not bad.
no, not at all. They had this kind of as I'm looking up. Let's see. Actually, Vince, was it Vince? Maybe it wasn't Vince that died. No, Vince is actually still. I apologize. Vince is still alive. It was the
Turns 80
cinematographer.
later this year. Yep.
Yeah, maybe it was Nino. Maybe it was cinematographer when I was watching Nino Celeste. I think maybe he's the one that passed. But regardless, the interviews were actually pretty good on there, and those were newer. Those were made from Cauldron. But good stuff, man. I mean, Cauldron doing it looked good, looked really good, and I like the setup of this movie. The house, I like being inside this big house and how they get kind of trapped in there and they can't get out. And then when they do get out, we got the Evil Dead moment where somebody coming out of the ground and kind of grabbing some ankles. I thought was pretty neat.
Yeah.
And, I like this. I really enjoyed this one, and I'll be honest, I had a lot of fun watching this and seeing
Yeah,
where
I
it
did
went.
too.
Yeah, this was actually very entertaining. The acting as a whole was good. The dubbing was not bad at all in this movie. I was actually, to me, it didn't just deter me either way, man. I'm like, okay, it's fine. It fits it. It suits it. I love the Doberman Pinchers, man. I love Doberman Pinchers. They always creep me out. They scare me. Like, dude, if I'm in a vicinity of an area where there's a Doberman, I instantly get scared. Like those dogs freak me out so bad. And if you got one, God bless you. But for me, buddy, I can't. They scare me.
I think
But
it always makes me think of Moonraker. It's that scene in Moonraker where the villain um Drax has the Doberman Pinchers chase after Corinne Clary, and all of a sudden Moonraker turns into like a horror movie for a minute because of that. It's
right,
a very strange shift in tone
yeah.
from what is considered by some to be the most ridiculous James Bond movie. But yeah,
I really enjoyed it. I like the Doberman scene. That was pretty cool how they kind of trapped him in there. But 84 minutes long, Ian. This one is actually really, really, really
yeah, it
entertaining.
moves pretty well.
It does. What else you got on this one?
Dubbing. Let me go to
Hmm.
that real quick if I can. Oh, I go here. So uh, Keith Van Hoven as Tony is dubbed by Ted Rusoff. Carolyn DeFonseca is dubbing the woman that Paul hits on at the grocery store, that employee.
Nice.
Um, and that is all I have actually for that.
Okay. All right. And like I said, they're serviceable. There's none of the characters are out of place. There's no Bobby moment in this one. Everybody
No,
kind of fits each other. So,
talk differently about that next film. But
yeah, definitely. But in this one, I thought they done really good with the dubbing. Do we have any all stars? I know we do, but
I was going to check that next. So um, let's see here. I do want to see if any of these other people have been in anything else.
mhm.
Um, Paolo Paolini has not been in anything else we've seen yet, but we might end up seeing him in some stuff. Al Cliver is really the biggest one
Yep.
in terms of things we've seen. Just what have we covered with him? Endgame, I think. Endgame,
Yep.
Rulers of the City. Did we do 2020 Texas Gladiators? I can't remember.
We
Um,
have not looked at that one.
okay,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Murder Rock as well.
we definitely
So
did that one.
So we have Al Cliver. I think that does Murder Rock, Endgame, Rulers of the City, House of Clocks. Yeah, that makes him a Hall of Famer. And
Nice.
he'll move up eventually because we'll probably end up doing Warriors of the Year from 2072, Texas Gladiators, and a few other classics that Fulci also made. So yeah,
Nice. I like it. Well, let's see here. You have anything else before we do the ratings?
not that I can think of. No.
Okay. Um, let's see. Let me, as I get this pulled up, House of Clocks 1989 has been officially, well, I'll hold off before I do that. I'm over here on Letterbox getting ready to put in our films. If you have not done it, head over to Letterboxd and look up Gregum Mortis, and you'll see our list. And when you see the list, you'll see all the films that we have reviewed over here at Black Glove Mysteries, and I try to keep that up to date now. So as we record, I try to make sure I get them in there. But anyway, so let's get in here. Let's see. Where do you come in on your rating on this, Ian?
7.
Okay. I'm actually coming in with the 8, man. I actually really, really, really enjoyed this. I thought cinematography was good. The music was fine. The dubbing was good. The acting was pretty solid. I liked the story. It was cohesive. It was kind of a quick 84-minute, or hour and 24-minute movie. So the timing was right, of course, because it was made for Italian TV. So, of course, the timing's going to be kind of, set for TV. I just really enjoyed it. The gore was good. We got a little bit of a nip slip, so you got that going on. Good stuff, man. So House of Clocks, a 7 for Ian, and for me, I'm going in with an 8. And with that said, it's time to get into our next one, Ian. We're going to go into the Sweethouse of Horrors, and I really love the artwork on these films, man. I
Yeah,
think
they
the
are good.
artwork that Cauldron picked out was tremendous, man. They really look good. So what do you got for plot synopsis of these?
Roberto and Mary are gruesomely murdered when they return home and surprise a burglar. The burglar places the corpses in their car and makes it look like an accident. Mary's sister Marcia and her husband Carlo are then obliged to take charge of their niece and nephew, Sarah and Marco. The children behave strangely and appear to be carrying out conversations with people they cannot see. It is evidently revealed that the ghosts of Roberto and Mary are still in the house and they are doing everything they can to carry on a relationship with their children and also to prevent Marcia and Carlo from selling the house.
Boom, boom, boom. I like it. Have you seen any of these, by the way, or were these first time
I
viewing?
had seen both of these ones. I have not
Okay.
seen the Lindsay ones yet.
Okay. I had not seen any of these, so these were all first time viewings for me. So going into this one, once again, we have a big house. We have, I won't say one set location because we do get outside and do a few things in that, but it does typically take place around the house or in the house. We do have our good buddy over here, Ian, in this movie. And Rocco, you got to know the God. What was his name? And we've seen him a couple times. But what was the Euro crime film we watched? The one that ended up being let's say just the got run over by the truck in this movie. Oh God, what was his name?
Lino
Yeah,
Salem, the actor.
yes, the one that played Rocco or whatever in that Euro
Yeah.
crime film we did. Love that dude, man. The nose, the whole, yeah, his character, man. I just really enjoyed him in this one. What was his Mark? No, it wasn't Marco, because Marco was the little boy. Sarah was the little girl. Guido,
Guido. Yeah.
yeah, Guido Lino Salimi. I had to find him real quick. Yeah, his character, man. I really enjoyed him, man. I just thought he was awesome in this movie, even though he's not in it a ton. But he was in Demons. That's where I remember him too. But man, I just had a lot of fun seeing his character and seeing where it goes.
Demons, Delirium.
Delirium, of course. Yep.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. But now this one, I don't know. Let's go ahead and spoil something for a second. Out of the two, did you prefer this one or House of Clocks?
House of Clocks.
Same. So I just want to see if you were kind of where I was at. Same.
Pretty definitively. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
think this is a bad movie, but it gets a little too some of the fantastical stuff in this goes a little bit too far for me. Like they don't really give you any explanation on how these parents are able to come back. It doesn't, and it gets a little silly. Like the whole floating candles thing is like this is like what is this? Like when that happened, I was like, what are we watching? Like Care Bears or something?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know what's going on here.
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I felt like here's what I thought on that scenario was Fulci's doing some special effects in a movie. I was
Yeah.
like, hey, he finally
Well,
actually gets.
I didn't really like those effects. I did
No,
like
no.
the blue thing, whatever that was later, that like blue ghostly thing
See
that's
through type.
yeah,
Yeah.
that I kind of liked actually.
Yeah. I was like,
But
okay, he's expanding himself a little bit here. I'm okay with that. But no, I know exactly what you're talking about on it. But here's what I thought. Here, the whole setup, first beginning of the movie, we got a couple that comes home. You can tell they're of wealth or whatever, and there's somebody robbing the house, and the robber's masked, and they get an altercation, and the couple are murdered, and then we find the kids living in the home with their nephew, or with the nephew, which would be the uncle, which would be the brother or whatever, or no, it was the sister actually, and that's kind of the setup. The kids are annoying as hell.
yeah.
And I'll be honest, I don't mind kids in horror movies. I don't. I'm not something that's like,
No, I
but
but
to me,
these kids
these
are
were,
really like bratty and
yes.
annoying. They're just not particularly, they're not endearing.
Mm-mm.
Like say what you want about Bob in the House by the Cemetery. The dubbing is the problem there, not the character. The character's actually not all that unlikable.
Right.
And Sylvia Colatina's character in that May, if I remember correctly, is
Mm,
actually a pretty cool character. These two kids are just not particularly likable.
no.
And it starts with, when Franco Diogene comes over and falls down and they're, laughing at
Yeah.
laughing at his misfortune,
Yeah.
which is what one of
Yeah.
the great dubbing lines that Cinzia Monreale has. You shouldn't laugh at the misfortune of others. um, yeah, it starts with that where they keep calling him sausage and saying sausage fell down and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, you better not even bother calling the ambulance or whatever they
You won't
say."
fit in it or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh God.
a lot of really like that sets the tone for how they're going to be throughout this whole film.
Yeah, and you actually know even before that, there's a funeral at the beginning. You see them crying or sitting down, and you're thinking, okay, they're mourning and they're talking. Dialogue's horrible, but they're talking, and then they start laughing, and you're like, what are they laughing about, right? You know, your parents just died, and you're laughing over here, and that's where you kind of get okay, these kids are complete hellions. And then, the sausage and all these different things that's going place. Man, these kids are horrendously annoying. Mr. Kobe, played by DeJohnny, man, that character, he's the real estate guy, pulls up in a Beamer with a chauffeur, and he comes out. He's like trying to look at the house and has to go up all these stairs. He's about to have a heart attack climbing up all the stairs. I like the character. I thought it was fun. And you got the Exorcist guy in this. You got a lot going on in this movie. Like, there is a ton of different things going with the kids, and then you got the real estate agent following. Is the house haunted, or is it being haunted by spirits of whoever? And is it the mom and dad? And then there's these floating flames, and then you got looks like a little lighter match flying around. You got that scenario going on. You've got the Guido character who, is he the killer because he keeps having flashbacks of wearing a mask, and all these different things. So,
Okay, I have to. So I another great dubbing line was when he's like, when he's trying to. I think he's trying to kill the mother, and he's like, "I have to murder you," and
yeah,
I'm like thinking, who says I have to murder you rather
right.
than I have to kill you? So like he says that multiple times, and
Yeah.
I just laughed at that, and
Oh
then
God.
I really laughed when Franco Diogene burns his hand. He screams. That was really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anytime I hear screams, I always go to the movie Brian De Palma's Blowout. I always go to the
yeah.
scene in Blowout where you got the girl screaming. Well, when I hear screams in movies, I always think they need John Travolta to try to be the scream guy, but that scream is pretty damn good.
Franco Diogene's still a pretty rotund man at this point, but I do think he had looked a little bit better here than he did in Strip Noon for Your Killer. I actually think he had lost a little bit of weight.
Yeah, he definitely looked a little healthier. I mean, as healthy as he could be, but
Right.
the bulldozer at the end of this movie, man, we see what's happening because they're going to bulldoze the house down because they can't sell the house, right? And they want to get rid of the house. The uncle or the brother and sister, or the sister and the brother-in-law want to get rid of the house, and the kids don't want that to happen. And they're trying to do everything they can because they want to keep their mom and dad's spirit alive in the house. And Mr. Kobe, Mr. Sausage, he's like, man, I just want to tear this house down for what they done to me, for breaking his ankle or whatever. And he said, I won't even charge you a nickel, plug nickel or whatever, to tear this house down. And they bring the bulldozer up and you see what happens there. It's just a hilarious scene. Some of that fast motion too when it's going in circles. Like, what the hell is going on here? Is this a Three Stooges moment going on? I don't know, but this is a goofy movie. It's not bad. Let me reiterate. It's not a horrible watching experience. It's a quicker movie as well because of its TV time. So it's an hour and 22 minutes, 2 minutes shorter than the last one. But there's some weird moments. You got the moments where the kids are talking to their mom and dad, and the sister-in-law and brother are looking at them like, who are they talking to? There's nobody there, but yet they're having full-blown conversations through the trickery of cinematography. We see it through the eyes of the kids. And I don't know, man. I just feel like I don't want to say it could have been trimmed down because I really don't think it necessarily could have been trimmed down. I think they did enough with the pacing. There's something about it that I liked House of Clocks better. I just felt House of Clocks was a little tighter. And it's not that the music was fine in this one. I thought the score was fine. Same gentleman doing the score, same gentleman doing the cinematography, so it looks the same, kind of sounds the same. I don't know, man. There's just something about this movie. It just didn't fully click with me, and it just didn't quite. I don't know. Just didn't quite get to that moment of where I wanted it. Because at the beginning, I was like, okay, I'm into this. That horrific murder, death sequence, which was awesome. The smashing of the head. I thought, okay, this is going to be cool. All right,
And the
I'll go there.
Fulci signature eye trauma.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like dude, that one hit and an eye just went. I was
Yeah.
like, yes, Fulci, yes, you gave us the eye gouge, you my friend. And then I don't know, the person getting run over by the vehicle was pretty cool. So he pulled out some of his old tricks and done well with it. There again, he tried something. He's done it before, I'm sure, but in this one, we're trying some of that. See-through transparency things and the floating light and all these different things. I
Did
thought
some of that stuff in Manhattan Baby, I think, a
sure,
little bit of it. But
yeah. So I'm like, okay, I give you A for effort and probably a D for for actual
execution.
execution's probably a D, but A for effort, my friend. I don't know, man. So acting, the dubbing on this one was definitely a lot worse than the dubbing in House of Clocks, in my opinion. This one was definitely a little rough, a little rough. These were shot on 16 millimeter, by the way, too. I thought it was pretty neat. Both of these films, so that's kind of cool. But what do you got on the dubbing on this one?
So Ted Rusoff is dubbing Nino or Lino Salemi
So let me.
as Guido. Carolyn DeFonseca is dubbing Cinzia Monreale, and I think that might be it. Or no, Robert Spafford is dubbing the priest at the beginning in the funeral.
Okay.
I recognize his voice too.
That was another funny scene when they finished, and he's like running with the two. I don't know what you call them, altar boys or whatever. He's like, hurry, we got to get to the next funeral or something. And they're like running to get to the next. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Maybe you should have cut the sermon a little shorter, priest. You know what I mean? So you didn't have to rush, but whatever. But there's just some of them moments that you're just laughing, man. You're like, man, this is like, was this on purpose or did you just like really? I don't know. There's some funny stuff in this one. Let's see. What do you got? What else you got on this one, Ian? And then we'll get into. I'm sure you got like. Let's see. Would he be a Hall of Famer? The Guido character, Lino.
He'd be close.
Yeah, he's got to be close.
Yeah.
Because I know we've done Demons 2. Uh, and I feel like we did Delirium, didn't we?
Yep.
Yeah.
Delirium. So yeah, he would be. Yep.
Nice. Heck
He'd
yeah.
qualify. Diogene would be an all-star. No, actually, he would be a superstar because he was also in the Stendhal Syndrome.
Oh,
Yeah,
heck yeah.
and I remember him in that small part in that movie. Cinzia Monreale, this I believe is only the second film we've done with her so far, so that makes her an all-star. She'll be in more eventually. I think that might be it. Yeah. We might end up doing one more film with the guy who plays Carlo at some point.
Okay.
Um, Vernon Depchoff, who played the Exorcist, he's been in a ton of stuff. I mean, he has a recognizable face.
Mm.
He's in Murder in the Orient Express. He's in Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade. So he's been in a lot of stuff.
Well, one person we won't see is the person is the person of Giuliano Gensini, which is the Marco, the little boy. We definitely won't be seeing him in anything else. So.
No.
Yeah, he's not Bobby, let's just say. Special features on this Cauldron release, you had the Fulci House of Horrors interview with set designer Massimo Antonio Giling. You had the Sweet Muse of Horrors interview with actress Cinzia Manrelli. You got editing for the Masters interview with editor Alberto Marini. And then you got Time with Fulci, an interview with FX artist Ilio Terabili, and archival interviews. And then you got the audio commentary by Eugenie Arcolini and Troy Howarth, which I did not get to that one either. Bummer. But Nathaniel not on this one, I think, would be the notable thing.
Yeah, I don't know why, but
yeah,
for whatever reason, yeah, it's just those two.
yeah, which is fine. And you got? Did you say you listened to the interview on this
I
one?
listened to the commentary.
Okay.
I thought it was pretty good. The other one might have been slightly more informative, but this one was still pretty good.
Mm. I wonder how much they really had on these anyways, because I don't think these are something that was really a lot of info out there, and there's not a lot going with these movies. You know what I mean? So I'm sure you could just do so much with it as a commentator. A lot of the people you would be hard pressed to talk to now. So yeah, I guess they give you what they can give you, but I will still go back and I will listen to the commentaries on these for sure because I do want to hear Troy and Arcandelli and of course Howard too. So yeah, good stuff, man. So you got anything else on the Sweet House of Horrors?
Not that I can think of. No.
I I will say entertainment wise, I've seen a hell of a lot worse. But if I was going to tell you, you got one of the two to choose for Fulci, it would definitely be the House of Clocks, 100%. And if you're into that haunted house type shit, you know, you would definitely probably enjoy the Sweet House of Horrors. But I'm gonna come in. I'm a 7 on this one, Ian. Where you come in on Sweet House of Horrors?
6.
Okay, so you're 6 on that one. And with that said, we got some not interviews. We got some calls. We got 2 calls from Luke that we'll get to right here in a second. But I do want to mention our next episode, Ian. We're going to show that right now. We're going to get into the last of this House of Doom set, and we're going to get into the Lindsay. And as I make a mess over here looking, we're going to get into the Lindsay. So you got the Lost House of Souls and the House of the Witchcraft. So that's what we'll get into on the next episode, and that'll finish out this box set of the House of Dooms. But as we talk that, I'm going to get over here. Let's get the voicemails ready here. We'll try to make this happen. The last time I tried to do this, Ian, I could not make it work, but I think I figured out exactly what I got to do. So with that said, let's go ahead and go over here, and we will play this interview, or this, I'm interviewing your dad. How awesome is that? Luke, I'm interviewing you, my friend. Let's go to this voicemail from Ian's father here, Luke.
Hey guys, Luke Irza, Black Glove Mysteries. Yeah, I'm calling in with some thoughts on House of Clocks. First off, I guess with some of these foreign movies, I'm not quite used to, you know, the killing happening so quickly at at the beginning of the movie. So when the older lady, kills the maid, I was like, wow, here we go, starting right in, just like some of the other, 4 or 5 recent movies that you guys have recommended that I've watched. Man, everything starts right out of the gate, so there it is. But I also have a couple observations in addition to that. One would be at the end when the younger people, let's call them, crash their car. The camera goes to one of their watches and it starts counting backwards. So one of my curiosities is it kind of implies maybe that that person wearing the watch might come back to life, and or I don't know how all of them would, but maybe all of them would, all three of them in the car crash. That's one thing. And then another kind of curiosity of mine is the clocks in the house go back, and it brings people back to life, like the niece and nephew. So now the niece and nephew are running the house with the maid who was killed at the beginning.
Hmm.
My wonderment is, as time goes on, does that mean that the older couple, the original owners of the house, does that mean the older couple might come back to life? Because as time advances, it's going to get closer maybe to when those people were killed, because the young people the niece and nephew would have killed the old people, and then, well, I don't know, I guess not. Time would not have gone backwards from their killing, I suppose. Never mind. I was just curious, as time advances, people that have been killed, would they come back to life? I guess that was my wonderment, is it like a vicious cycle? Like, then the old people come back to life and kill the niece and nephew again and this and that, but that might not be possible. But it was something I was kind of curious or theorizing about. Anyway, if I get to the other movie, I'll give you guys a call, and have a great podcast, fellows. Bye.
All right, let's discuss that real quick because he did come in with a question there. I do agree with you on the scenario, what you're talking about with the time going back. I don't know would it, Ian, would you think that the one that did have the watch on, maybe it would be rewinding back to a time?
Yeah, I don't really know, because it's one of those things where obviously they weren't part of the plot by the older couple in any way. So,
Right.
but did them just being in the house make it so the watch goes? I don't know. But that's still an interesting point. I hadn't
Yeah.
thought about it.
Yeah, 100%. I'm in the same boat, man. I don't know what to say to you, Luke. I would think personally that would probably. I just don't know, man. I don't know. It kind of leans that direction, right, Ian? I mean, as the movie kind of progressed, it would kind of lean
Yeah.
to that. Good stuff. Well, let's go to Luke's last call here and see what he's got. And I don't know. We'll see. I guess this is about the Sweethouse of Horrors.
Hey guys, Luke Irza, Black Glove Mysteries. Hey, I'm calling in with some thoughts on Sweethouse of Horrors. You know, part of the film, I kind of lost me there for a while,
Yeah.
you know, as far as interest goes. I like the opening scene. One of the best parts about the movie was, I guess, the blood and gore at the beginning, where the murderer guy, you know, bashes the homeowner's head in, and then he bludgeons the wife with some kind of kitchen heavy object, maybe to pound meat with or something. You know, an eyeball pops out and this and that. And then of course he goes back and finishes the male homeowner off with like the poker from the fireplace. Anyway, the gory part and the blood part, you know, and the skin coming off and this and that, you know, I think that was the best part of the movie. You know, it was fairly okay for me right up until the floating flames came around. And then I was kind of like, all right, you're beginning to lose me here. I get it was meant to be most likely the parents, and things, but at that point I was kind of like, and then towards the end there was some kind of whitish, bluish floating object, which I guess were again supposed to represent the parents, you know, and they were trying to prevent the house from being sold and things like that. But, you know, I just expected, well, I don't exactly know what to expect, but I mean, I expected more something like them chasing the aunt and the uncle out, or possibly them getting somehow terrorized and possibly murdered. Not that I want that to happen to somebody, but I didn't really understand some of the plot of the movie when it turned from the blood and gore part to the souls, I guess, of the parents not wanting the house to be sold.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of like, well, okay. And the kids, to me, came off, quite frankly, pretty bratty and and things, and their characters could have been maybe portrayed differently, but they just came across as bratty to me, and and stuff. I mean, I watched the movie. I don't want to insult anybody, but it certainly was one of the ones that I found a little bit of interest in it. But other than that, the blood and gore.
And that was the end of it. So I guess he got cut off there at the end, but I would like to have seen what he was going to say at the end. The blood and gore. The blood and gore was the best part of that movie for sure.
Yeah.
I thought that opening, and I'm 100% with you, Luke. Like the first part of that movie had me. I did like the intrigue. I liked everything that was going on. It was that flame flickering that came in that kind of lost me a little bit, and where it went from there just kind of, and then it kind of picked back up toward the end. But I will 100% agree with you that it kind of, yeah. I don't know, Ian. I was kind of like, yeah, okay. So good stuff there, man, from your dad, man. I love that. And I can't wait. Are y'all going to be watching? I think you said he's coming to visit you. Y'all going to be watching some good movies?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, we usually end up watching a bunch of stuff when he's here. So, yep.
I like it. You have to keep me in tune. Let me know what you watch.
Yeah.
So that said, we'll go ahead and get into a wrap up now. It's already time to wrap up the show here as I get ready to let me put in Sweethouse of Horrors over here in our letterbox list, the Sweethouse of Horrors. Bam, done. All right, there you go, folks. The list is up to date as we speak. But man, super excited. We're going to be checking out once again Umberto Lenzi. I'm super excited. Have you seen either one of these?
No, I have not.
I have not either. So these are the Umberto Lenzi, the House of Lost Souls, House of Witchcraft. So these are the made for Italian film of them. I'm really enjoying Cauldron. I'm really enjoying the series. So I wish I would have bought the full box set to have it in that cool box set you got. But regardless, I got all 4 films and they look good on the shelf. So that, yeah, we'll go there. And I'll keep you posted as I get all the other ones. I'm going to get them all, man. I'm going to try my damnedest to get them all in. I want all of them up there and stay with that label and give them support, man. I love what Cauldron's doing. They really do a really good job at some films that I would have never heard of. So I got to give them a shout out for that. And I got a penguin walking to the side of me over here. And and that's he's waddling the other way. If you can see Pearl waddling like a penguin over here, she's so funny. I love my wife. Well, that's it, Ian. What you got in final thoughts and outros on this one?
So you can find me on Twitter or X, Blue Sky, and Instagram at Erzonomics. You can add me on Facebook or Letterbox if you want as well.
Nice. Any conventions coming up? I think we talked about that last
There
episode.
might be, there probably will be one early April. Yeah.
I'm hoping Chiller. I want to get to Chiller, and let's hope for some Italian. We got to keep our eyes out for some Italian.
Well, I might end up going to that as well. We'll see. That would be in the end of April. But,
okay.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. I know we got one coming up in February. We got a couple coming up near us. One of them being the Mad Monster, which is in the Concord, Charlotte, North Carolina area. So weather-wise and see what happens there. They already got the announcements, but I'll be honest, most of what I've seen on that guest list I've already seen, or just don't have a lot of interest in going, but I don't know yet. We'll see. But with that said, thank you guys for tuning in. If you're just listening to this on the audio podcast platform, there will be no Mortis Vision this week, so it's just going to be Black Glove Mysteries right here with Ian and I, and then the show will end. But we'll be back with Mortis Vision possibly on the next episode, so stay tuned for that. And we're super excited because the next LOTC episode, which will be episode 465, we're doing our top 10 horror movies of the year 2025, and super excited about that. Some of you have already called in and got your calls in, which is awesome. We're going to have special guest Anthony the Shotmaster General on. We're going to have Justin Beam on. So we're super excited about that and getting our list finally out there for you listeners. So you need to subscribe to the Land of the Creeps podcast, Ian, over at all the podcast platforms so you can listen to that and see what you think. of the 2025 season. Ian, what did you think of 2025? You don't have to go into a lot of detail, but what did you think of 2025 as a horror world?
I thought it was a pretty good year. I'm having a hard time recollecting exactly. It's one of those things where sometimes because it's so recent, you're like, oh, what happened?
Yeah.
But so I mean, Sinners was a film I really liked. It wouldn't be. I'm trying to think of what my number one was. Let me look here real quick. So yeah,
The thing about Sinners too is I'm hearing it's popping up on a lot of lists, but it also has gotten those 16 Oscar nominations, which is
yeah, it did.
really surprising for a horror
I mean,
movie.
from what I'm seeing here, there were just good films kind of layered really well throughout the year.
Mhm.
At the beginning of the year, we had a lot of heavy hitters. We had
Yeah,
Companion, Hard Eyes. I liked The Wolfman quite a
I
bit.
did
I know
too.
some people didn't, but
I did too.
um, for me, I loved Final Destination.
I did too.
Dangerous Animals was really good. Weapons was great,
Mm.
but my personal favorite. Why am I all of a sudden blanking? Oh, Black Phone 2 was my
Okay,
favorite.
cool.
So,
Have you seen Beasts of
yeah.
War?
Did I lose you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
Uh-oh, we got lost. We're freezing up over here. I'm gonna go ahead and close this out, though. It looks like Ian's froze up, or maybe it froze up on my end. Either way, we're going to get out of here. So that said, follow us over at Facebook, Instagram, and all them spots. You back, Ian?
yep.
Yeah, I think we froze up just for a second there. It's all good. But man, super excited. Beast of Wars, which is over, I believe, on Shudder, I believe. If anybody has a
Shark movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
shark movie. It's another shark movie. Definitely check that one out. I think it's a Aussie film, maybe. But with that said, we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna see you on the flip side. Help keep horror alive. We do that one movie at a time, one review at a time. Till next time, peace. And stop.